Okay, so good morning everyone. In database management system, today I will be covering the concept of data models, which comes under the chapter 2 database management system concepts and architecture. Let's begin the class. So earlier when it was a database management system, the packages was, I mean to say the DBMS package means the working was like a client server system architecture. So what is a client server system? See, the client is the one who is requesting or who is coordinating with the server. And what the server is doing, he is coordinating with the client, and whatever the request is done by the client will be responded by the server system architecture. So this was done in the earlier form of DBMS, but when the time went on, okay, as the time went, so the latest distributed workstations were replaced with that old client server system. So where in this distributed workstations, the personal computers were connected with server machines like web servers, data servers, file servers, and application servers, and so on. So let's see, for all those things, what are the things we are going to learn when we are just replacing the old DBMS system with the new distributed workstations. So for all those things, we need to learn the concept of data models, schemas, and instances. So data model is a method which is used to define, analyze data requirements. So I will give you a simple example of a data model. So usually data model, model is what? It's a pictorial representation which will describe how the data is arranged for a specific purpose. So now let me take an example of washing machine. So before knowing how it works, you should know the model. So how the washing machine works. So what all you can see is the drum, right? The outlet pipe, the inlet water pipe, okay, the rotating, we will call it as agitator. Okay, so all those things we will be using, and the inner tub and the outer tub. These things we can look in the washing machine. But how it is programmed is we cannot see that. Okay, how the washing machine is programmed. So for that concept we will call it as data abstraction. That means it hides some details which are not needed by the users. See, we don't need how the washing machine is going to work. What we need is only the working method, but how it is programmed is not needed for us. So the things which is not needed for us, we will call it as data abstraction. And what is data model? It's a kind of pictorial representation. So how the data is arranged, how it is used, for what purpose it is used. All these things is a data model or a description. So now we will see, and data model is also called as the logical design and structure of a database, and it will defines how it will be stored, accessed, updated in the database management system. Okay, so now let's see, there are types, or there are three categories of the data model. That is, this you will be learning in the architecture of database management system, where you will be having three levels, that is conceptual level, physical level, and implementation, how it can be implemented. So before going to this architecture of the data models, where you will be learning in DBMS architecture. So let's see what are the types of data models. So this class is exclusively to tell you what is a data model. So as I told, it's a logical design. Okay, and it also defines how data will be stored, accessed, and updated in DBMS. And let's see what are the types of data models. So you can see here there are many types in the data models, where we will be starting with the hierarchical data model. Okay, and then we will go with the network, relational, object oriented, object relation, and so on. So let's see the very first data model, hierarchical data model in DBMS. See, what is the meaning of hierarchical? See, hierarchical is nothing but starting from the root data and it expands like a tree, adding child nodes to the parent nodes. So we will be keep on adding the child nodes to the parent nodes. See, like this, in this diagram, you can see college is called as a root node. Okay, and then it is going to expand like a tree where the next child node can be a department. Here it can be anything. And the next child node for the department is course, teachers, students. And the next child node for the course is theory lab. So it looks like a tree. Okay, and you can observe in this hierarchical model, a child node will be having only a single parent node. So it can have, if two children are there for one node, but you can observe for any child, it comes from only one parent. See here, course, teachers and students are the three child nodes, but it comes from the only one parent node, that is the department. So this is the speciality of the hierarchical model. So let's see. So this is how we define the hierarchical model, where data in a tree structure, okay, where we are having a hierarchy of parent and child data segments. And these are some of the advantages: simplicity, security, integrity, and efficiency. So how it is simple, we can just track from the root nodes, from the child node to the root node. So if I want to know something about the teachers, the teacher module, so what I will do, I can track it easily, right? So teacher is having a parent called department, and department comes from the college node, right? So it is very simple in structure, where you can easily know where you are going to bifurcate, where are you going to have the children node. And it is highly secured because when it is a course node, when this is a teacher node, there is no connectivity between the course and the teachers, right? So we will feel the course is secured and the data is secured within this, and teachers are also secured within this. And data integrity, so how it is, see, course, teachers, students, when it takes together, when it is integrated together, then only we can call it as a department. And the last one is efficiency. So since it is a tree-like structure, it is more efficient and good for understanding purpose. Okay, so some of the disadvantages, complexity, because here in this diagram you can see there are only 4 levels. I will call this college as level 0, this as level 1, level 2, level 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, only 4 levels. But when there are more than 100 modules or 100 parents or more than 200 children nodes, then it will be very, very, very complex and difficult. And now let's see why database managing is very difficult, because anywhere you need to check, you have to go with the path, you have to go till the root node, and then only you can get the connectivity. So if suddenly I want to take the details from the students, directly I cannot jump into this, right? First I have to go to the college node, then I have to go to its child department, then its child, one of the children, that is student node. So that will become little difficult, and that management will be little difficult. And lack of structural independence, the same thing. So independently the student node cannot be reached, so you have to come from the root. And the next one is the operational anomalies. So addition, deletion, see, once the model is done, now deleting the theory will become very difficult, right? It may show error, right? Why? Because you will be having the course, and previously in your database you will be having theory and labs. So directly if I want to get just delete this theory, it will become a disturbance for the complete restructure of this hierarchical model, right? So the course should be updated from 2 children to 1 child. Theory is not there at all, so nobody can use that particular database, and all these problems are called anomalies. See, this is the operational anomalies. So what are the operations you will be using? Delete operation, insert operation, update operation, and so on. So these are the disadvantages of the hierarchical model. Now let's take up the second model, That is the type 2 is the network model. So you can understand, just take an example of the Vodafone network. Okay, so you will be having the main tower here. Okay, think this is the Vodafone company or any company. And here you will be having the tower, you will be having the office. Okay, here you will be having the customer, here you will be having the area wise office and all those things which are related to each other. And the network is not restricted only for the company, it is expandable. Like you can see here, Twitter, YouTube, which is not connected to the particular company, also with the help of the network, that particular company will be having connection with the Twitter. Okay, so this is the network model. So let's see how it works. So network model is defined in this way. It is the extension. So I will basically call it as it is an extension of the hierarchical model. So now the network model organizes into two fundamental, that is records and set. See, record will be having the field and set will be having relationship between the records. So when we move on to the relational model, you can understand what is a record, what is a set. There we will call it as attribute and tuples. So let's see now, according to this, for this particular network model, we will see what is a record, what is a set. Okay, so now record is nothing but, for example, it is a student. Okay, student is a database. So what records we can maintain with the student? His name, his roll number, his marks can be maintained with the student. So this roll, marks, name, roll number, all those things, I will call it as a field or a record. And what does this set? It is a relationship between the records. That means n number of records which constitute together with certain relation is called a set. For example, the roll number is related with your marks. For your roll number, you cannot get some other marks, right? So your name is related with your roll number. Your roll number is related with your marks and your name is related with your marks. So there is a relationship between every field, right? So that is called the record set. So now, what are the advantages? So it is, again, it's little bit simple. Okay, but yet complex. Why I am telling it's simple but yet complex? See, conceptual level is nothing but a logical level. In logical level, we will call it as simple because, see, when you want to search some details about the company, you can go through Twitter, you can go through YouTube, you can go through Google, or you can go through customers, or you can go through blogs or anywhere, right? You can get it. But when it comes to the system, it will become very complex because we don't know from A to Z where the company data is distributed all over the places, right? So that's why I told it's simple but yet complex. That means conceptually it is very simple logically when we check, but system wise it will become very complex. Now, capability to handle more than one relationship types, right? See, roll number, marks, name is the particular relation which is having a particular relation. So in your mind, you can just have it that the particular is a student, the particular data is a student data. But when the same data, when the same student data is connected with his Aadhaar card, he will become the citizen of India, right? So this is how the capable one or more relation. See, the student can be a student to a particular college, to a particular branch also, and the same student can be a citizen of India having a particular unique identification number with the help of Aadhaar card. But whatever it is, he can be a student or he can be a citizen of India. It is easy to access data because we are saving him or his data in a database. So it is easy to access data. Now coming to the data integrity. Now I can search the person with the help of roll number also. I can search the person with the help of Aadhaar card also. So when I just take it together, see, after 10 years, you are not a student, right? You are an employee. So, but how to integrate? How can I know he's from the particular college? So if I just connect his Aadhaar card number with the college database roll number, then I can call it as data integrity, where I can find him that he was a previous student of this particular college. And data independence, which was not in hierarchical model, is an advantage here. So that is why I called this as an extension of hierarchical model. And again, in this case also, addition, deletional anomalies will be there because it's very, and also absence of structural independencies. Why? Because this is cannot be independent, right? It has to be taken together. So the company, the forums, all this has to be taken together. And if any one customer will leave, is out of that company, then this particular customer will be there. So again, and this customer cannot have the connection or connectivity, where you cannot, deleting will be become difficult. That means connectivity difficulty, deleting, all these things are called operational anomalies. Okay, and also the structural independencies. It cannot work independently. It should have something to form a network. Now coming to the third type, that is a relational data model. So before starting with the relational data model, you all should remember the keywords relation, tuple, and attributes. So columns or fields are also called as attributes. Rows are called tuples, and table is called a relation. So this is one particular table where it is having a primary key. So primary key is nothing but a unique identification key. Okay. So if you are a citizen of India, your unique identification number can be a PAN card, or it also can be an Aadhaar card. But that is unique. No two people can have the same identification, right? So that particular key, we will call it as a primary key, and that will be related with the other fields. So now the attributes of this particular relation. So that particular relation is a customer. So think that name of the table is customer table. Okay. So I will call the name of the relation is customer, and the attributes here are customer ID, customer name, and status are the attributes, and the complete row I will call it as tuple. Okay, so this field is related to this field is related to this field. The complete row belongs to one particular person, that is the Google. So this is how the relation works. So again I repeat, table is called a relation, fields or column headings are called attributes, and the complete tuple is called a row. So let's see what is a relational model database actually. Okay, so it's the data items. Okay, it's one or more independent tables. So two or more tables can be related with each other by using a common field. So again, when it comes to a concept advantage, it is simple. Okay, it is structural independence. See, what was a disadvantage in the last two models, in the hierarchical data model and network model, was they were lacking the structural independence. See how it is structurally independent. I will just take this number 2, that is the customer ID of Amazon. So this, if I just take this detail, independently I can take all the complete details of that particular customer Amazon. I need not go by tree structure, or I need not go by some other method. Directly I can take that because the Amazon alone here is independent. He is having independent unique ID number 2, and he has the status can be changing, but still as of now his status is active. So this and this are interrelated, and 2 is a unique identity key, that is a primary key. So what I will tell, Amazon is independent. That means he is not dependent either to Google or Apple. He is different and this is different. So this is totally independent. So it is only related to the primary key, that is the customer ID. So next one is design implementation is little bit easy because it is in the table form, tabular form. It will be easy for you. And query capability. See, query is nothing but question. Okay, in future you will be learning about the queries, that is SQL language, structured query language. So what is a query? Give me the detail of so and so name. So I will use the keyword called select. Select star from table. So like that, you will be having many queries you will be learning in SQL, MySQL. So here the capability is more. That means you can ask any number of questions or any number of queries will be raised and you will be able to fetch the answers from the given relational data model. That means from the table, it will be easy to take the data. So that is the query capability. Now coming to the disadvantage, hardware overheads. That means, see what happens when there is too much of database data, and when we are keep on dumping, then the system will be with, it might go slow. There will be little bit of problem. And comfort of design may lead to bad design. Why it may lead to bad design? Because here you can see only 3 columns. Right. Suppose the particular table should have 100 fields. Then it will be very complicated. Right. And that is not bad design, is not that something which is not good. It is not like that. It means it is more complicated, which the design should be always comfortable. It should be like when you just look at the model, you should feel, yes, it's easy. I can find out the data. I can do the deletion operation. I can do the insert operation. I can check the data. I can just retrieve the data, all these things, which will become very difficult when it goes to the bad design. So these are some of the disadvantages of relational data model. Now let's go to the fourth model, that is object-oriented data model. So what happens here? See, there is some concept called OOPS concept, that is object-oriented programming concepts. In that you will be having object-oriented method. That means here they have given with the simple example. You can see here there are 2 objects. Object 1 is maintenance report and object 2 is what the activity is going to do. You can see both are having the same fields, which is called activity code. So what I am doing here, I am just mapping this code and I'm just checking what kind of activity is done by the maintenance department. See, if the code is 11, the activity done by the maintenance department will be updating the antivirus. If the code is 22, the activity which is maintained by the maintenance department is cleaning the system or updating the system, updating the software. So like that, it is related to each other, where together when we have 2 objects, then we will call it as object-oriented data model. So let me just tell you what are the OOPS concepts. So one of the OOPS concept is encapsulation. That means data and the program will be capsulated together and it works together. It's like a capsule, how you will be having 2 or 3 medicines together inside one particular capsule. The encapsulation will work like that only. It's like the binding of data and information, the binding of data and programs, or 2 programs together. Any kind of binding, we will call it as data encapsulation. And data abstraction, I had told you in the beginning of the data model. So it is hiding of data. Right. See, here you will be knowing the code, that is 11, what activity they are doing. But you won't be knowing how many employees are there, what is the salary of the employee, how he is going to maintain. That and all is not needed for you. Right. So these are some of just 2 concepts of the object-oriented programming. That is data hiding and data encapsulation. Right. Okay. So let's see how it is defined. So it's defined as a collection of objects. Okay, where behavior, state and relationship together. So n number of objects will work together. And how does they behave? What is the state? Is it active? Is it coordinating? Is it inactive? So or the state of the behavior and the relationship together, then we will call it as an object-oriented data model. So now you can see in advantages. Okay, so large number of data types will be handled here. Okay, and again, this is one more, these are the 2 more object-oriented concepts, that is inheritance and polymorphism. So inheritance is from the parent inheriting the property, taking the properties from the parent to the child, and that child will take that property to the children. So something like that. For example, if animal is the main root, okay, in that they have two properties. One is one property can be called as reptiles, and another can be called as a domestic animals, and another one can be called as a wild animals, or domestic animal, wild animal. So from the animal, the property is taken by the two children, that is domestic animal and wild animal. So animal itself means what? Which cannot be like a human, which cannot speak like a human, except for the parrot, few are excluded, which cannot speak like human, which cannot think like you human, that we will call it as animal. So these are the properties which are taken by either it can be domestic or wild. When it comes to wild and domestic, again it will be having children. So the children of the domestic animal will not eat other animals. The children of the wild animal will eat another animals. So something like that. So that property is called inheritance. Polymorphism is one name, many methods. See, if I take add can be used, or sum. If I use the word sum, or if I use the sum add, it can be addition also, or it can be concatenation of strings also. You might have learnt in DS programs or C programs. Plus is the symbol which is used to add two numbers. Plus is the symbol which is used to concatenate two strings. That is why we will call it as polymorphism. Poly means many. Morphism means methods. So one name, many methods is called polymorphism, which deals with object-oriented database. So which helps in handling the complex behaviors in an easier manner. Okay, so next one is, and also when we create more number of objects, the large number of relations will be reduced. Like table, I told 100 fields in one table looks like a bad design. It's very complicated. But when we go with an object oriented database, it becomes very simple. Okay, so these are some of the advantages. Let's see the disadvantages. So flexibility in application programming interface will be reduced. See, since we are having data independence, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, all these things, because of all these things, the flexibility will be reduced with the interface, that is APIs, which will be directly related to the user. So user will be having the problem when he is going to delete some data in a bulk. So you cannot give delete star from so and so table, because that particular table will be related to some other table. So that is not flexible, and you will get a message. If you delete this, you will get an error message. So that's why flexibility is not there with respect to API. So that I will consider here as a disadvantage. Now, the last type of model is object relational model. So here the class is called, here they have taken, see, you have studied two model now. What was the fourth type? It was object oriented model. What was the type 3? It was relational model. Now you are just combining this both, and that has become a new model called object relational data model. So what is object relational data model? Here you can see object oriented model. Here you can see relational model, two separate things, and how it is connected with each other. So you can see the class of the object related oriented model. Here in relational model, we will call it as a relation or a table. And objects are called tuples or the complete record, and variable is called the attribute or the column, and the method here we will call it as a procedure. So what we are doing, we are just combining both the models, the type 3 and the type 4, and we are aware of a new model called object relational model, where both will be joined together. So you can just see here, the table is a student. Roll number, name, phone number are the different attributes of the student. If the table is the library, book ID, name, book date, roll number are the different attributes. But this particular roll number is related to this particular roll number. That means what book this particular student has taken, that will be updated in the library. Okay, so who has taken, that will be related with this particular field of roll number, which is common for both student table and library table. So let's see how it is defined. So this is to provide a relational database model which allows developers to integrate database with their types and methods. So what happens here, I am relating the student table with the library table with one connection. So which is a unique identity key, that is primary key, and here it is called reference key. That is how it is related. Okay, so now we will see large storage capacity will be very easy because we are relating the tables not with the fields, not with the objects, but we are relating here with the keys. That is a primary key and a foreign key, so which helps in accessing the high speed also. And disadvantage is for web applications, it is not that appropriate. It is used, definitely it will be used, but it is not that much applicable. So that's why that we will call it as one of the disadvantage. So these are all about the types of models. So in this class you have learned the 5 types of data models, that is hierarchical, right, network data model, relational data model which deals with the tables, object oriented data model, and object relational data model, which is a combination of type 4 and type 5. So in next coming videos you will be learning about the DBMS architecture. Thank you.